snap. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a tabletop hobbyist. It's currently 8:30 in the morning, and I'm about to go to a Warhammer tournament. I'm having a great morning, and I'm ready to get at it. So, yeah, I'm bringing Khorne Daemons. It's 8:30. It's weird for me to be up this early because I'm about a 9 o'clock guy. I don't think anything good happens after midnight, and I don't think anything fun starts before 9. I'm simple. So, tournament's gonna be 3 rounds. I'm bringing Khorne Daemons. I'm doing this little preamble because I'm fresh and I'm unbiased. Like, I don't know how the day is gonna go. I can just say how I think it's gonna go. And how I think it's gonna go is I'm gonna win at least one game. Because that's always my goal whenever I go to a tournament. So, let's get into the list and kind of talk about it, see what we're bringing, and then we'll talk about secondaries and all that. And after that, we'll move on to, like, actually what's going on, because there's going to be a little pause for lunch after the first round, and then Suburbia just turned on at 8:34. There's a dude mowing his lawn. I get that you want to do it before it gets hot out, but I do think that there's a time and a place. But it's whatever. I guess the time is now. I guess the place is now. We're doing it. So let's get into the list. Let's talk about it. It's Khorne Daemons. Why is it Khorne Daemons? Well, Khorne Daemons are my favorite demons. They're some of the only demons that I own. I own a couple of Nurgle demons. But, I'm not. I used to be Team Slanesh, and then I was just like, excuse me, it's actually been Blood for the Blood God the entire time. And since realizing that, my life has improved, and now I'm out here taking Khorne Daemons to an RTT. So here, let's get into the list. In a non-force orc slot, we have Skull Taker. Ooh, he's basically a lieutenant, because I don't have any reroll wound rolls in this army, except for him. So I really do need him in this situation. I got a Bloodthirster. I spent 2 CP on this guy, so he's getting a Warlord trait, he's getting a Relic. He's got Argath, the King of Blades, so that increases his damage by 1 on both of his weapon profiles. So his sweep attack, instead of doing 2 damage, is doing 3. His axe is doing D3 plus 4 damage instead of D3 plus 3. I think it's going to be pretty great. He's got the Great Axe of Khorne, because I love the Great Axe of Khorne. It's my favorite thing. And he's got the Brazen Hide. I think the Brazen Hide is really cool. I was taking this guy with Armor of Scorn at first, but then I read it and realized that it only gives a +1 save against 1 damage weapons. And I'm like, I don't need that. I also got Indomitable Onslaught because I don't want him to just die immediately, like I've seen a lot of other Bloodthirsters and large demons do. So what I'm thinking is, depending on the layout of the table, if I can hide him, I'll put him down. If I can't hide him, he's probably going in Deep Strike, and then hopefully he'll be coming down in the mid board when I use some Warp Storm points to reduce people's leaderships down by like 2 points, because I got a couple of ideas for that. What he's doing in the army is kind of just soaking up firepower whenever it's kind of applicable, and also he kills things, and that's nice because I need something that'll really get the killing done. I think every demons list needs 1 greater demon in it, but this is just kind of how I'm feeling. I just got the codex recently, so could be right, could be wrong. We'll see how it goes today, but I've played 2 games with it, and I'm really feeling that greater demon makes a big change, because even if he doesn't go off and kill everything, he'll at least kill something usually, and hopefully that something can really change the game. He has a big base, so he can give rerolls over a greater area, and it's just really nice to have. I got 2 demon princes with wings, one with the demonic axe, the other with malefic talons, and he's got the crimson crown, which lets me retain 2 warp storm points. Retaining warp storm points is going to be huge, because turn 1, probably not going to use all my Warp Storm points. Turn 1 is basically just use 3 Warp Storm points for -1 to hit, and that's it. I'm hoping that I can get off some Music of the Warp and that I can increase my auras by 6 inches, so that way I can put -2 leadership on people and bring my demons down real close in turns 2, 3, and 4. Well, 2 and 3, I suppose. The Malefic Talon, I could see it taking a Hellforged Sword instead. Because honestly, unless it's going into like Guardsman, the Malefic Talon probably is not going to do what I want it to do. It's a relic of a bygone era. It's a relic of a bygone age, and no one really wants it around, is what I'm saying. That AP -3, 3 damage on the Demonic Sword is probably the best way to go. I just didn't feel like switching out the model, popping off that Talon and putting on a sword instead. Then I got 6 units of Bloodletters. Now, 1, I think that Bloodletters should change their name to Bloodthirsters, and Bloodthirsters should be called Bloodletters, because Bloodletters makes it seem as though that's someone who's already getting it done. Bloodthirster seems like someone who's more hungry for blood, like they want to get there, so that they can drink that blood. And I feel as though if we were to compare which one's a Bloodletter, the guy with the great axe, or which one's a Bloodthirster, and that's just the little dudes who want to get that blood, and little drinky drink. I feel as though should be Bloodthirsters. But hey, that's just me. 4 squads have icons, and 3 squads have Instruments of Chaos. 2 of them with icons. That was a kitchen way of saying I have 2 squads with demonic icons and also Instruments of Chaos. 2 squads with just demonic icons. A squad with Instrument of Chaos, and just a normal squad. What do I think about this right here? I think that I'm going to put like 3 of these in reserve. So the one with the demonic icon, definitely going in reserve. The one with nothing, definitely going in reserve. And another icon is going in reserve, so I can drop the Banner of Blood if I need to. Roll 3d6 on the charge and just really get in there. 3d6, drop the lowest. You know how it goes. So, after that, we move on to heavy support. I got 2 skull cannons. I have a couple of gripes with the skull cannon. I think that it should have the core keyword, because it is manned by Bloodletters. Because it does have the Bloodletter keyword. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense for it to be core. But hey, I didn't write the book. If they would have come up to me and said, hey, Tabletop Hobbyist, what do you think? I would have been like, y'all better slap core on that thing. Because my original plan was to basically just have that Malefic Talon wielding Demon Prince hang out with the skull cannons and give them reroll 1s. But then I realized that wouldn't work, and I hated it. Because it just doesn't make sense. Anyway, I got 2 skull cannons. I think that they actually have the ability to do a little bit of work. It depends on what you send it into. I think, obviously, it's good at killing Space Marine. Well, it'll be fun to at least use. I think that if it goes into the right targets, though, it'll be okay. I was in contention to possibly take a detachment of Knights in support, but you lose the special Demon Deep Strike if every unit in your army is not demons. It doesn't exclude Agent of Chaos or anything like that. So I was just like, no, I'm not going to do that. And instead, I'm taking a Soul Grinder as well with my skull cannons. Now, the Soul Grinder distracts people because it's got 16 wounds, it's toughness 8. I think it's very okay. It can fight, It's not that good at shooting because it gets no support. It gets no reroll ones, it hits on threes, and it's got a d6 weapon, and it's got a strength 7 -1 2 damage weapon. You know, it's mid. It's mid. Anyway, that's the list out of the way. Let's talk about secondaries and what I'm thinking. What I'm thinking is Reality Rebels. Okay, you get points for this one for outnumbering your opponent in table quarters. Don't have to be in every table quarter. And also for having models in the center of the battlefield. I think I can do that. And if I don't outnumber them, that's okay. Well, I don't even have to outnumber. I can just meet the same number of models that they have. So, you know, I think we're in a good position with that. After that, I have Spoilers of Reality. This is on objectives outside of my deployment zone. I want to get on them and I want to do an action. When I do that action, I get 4 points. I love that. Hopefully I get it off twice every game. If I get it off 3 times, whoo mama, I'm going to be having a great day. Now the third slot's always hard to pick unless you're Necrons or something. But I'm probably going to go with Nourished by Terror. I get 1 point every time a model flees. Or every time when the last model in a unit is destroyed, before it's destroyed, roll 2d6. If you equal or exceed the leadership value of that model, you get a victory point. I know I said that the Soul Grinder is mid. That secondary is mid. That secondary is so mid it kind of hurts. Oh, there is a young bird sitting on my fence. Anyway, my other secondary is going to be, well, if I can't take that one or don't think I should take that one, is going to be Assassination probably. Or maybe like a killing secondary. I don't know. It's kind of sus. It's kind of hard to decide. But I think that hopefully the 3 demon ones will help. If not, well, I'll probably not be winning one game today, let me tell you that. Is there anything else that I really need to talk about before I actually go and play some Warhammer? I don't think so. I'll probably see you at lunch. Of course, I'm going to do that little thing where I put a little musical intro. I like doing that. And of course, I'm going to make sure I try and record some games today. And like, take pictures and shit. I'm actually going to take pictures. That's what I'm telling myself, and that's what I'm doing. I'm going to have my coffee. I'll see y'all at lunch. And I'll let you know how it's going. You know, I'll let you know how it's going. Alright. Real quick. Just before I cut it off, I want to talk about why there aren't any Skull Crushers / Blood Crushers in this list. Now, I had 3 Blood Crushers in the list. Maybe if I could build a unit of 5. I just don't have it right now, Chief. I don't have it right now. Maybe if I had a unit of 5, I would put them into the list, or 2 units of 3. But here's the thing. There are 135 points. A unit of Bloodletters is 130 points. Anything that Blood Crushers can kill, Bloodletters can kill. Blood Crushers just get the 8-inch movement. And while it's nice, it's very nice, it may even be 10 inches. While it's nice, I just don't think that the extra wounds are worth it. Because with that 5 points, I could get another set of OBSEC bodies. Maybe if I was doing like a straight up mostly cavalry list, I could find a little space for the Blood Crushers, but I need to get some Flesh Hounds, so I'm probably going to pick up that Combat Patrol pretty soon. I feel as though that would be very useful for the list. Even just 2 units of 5 Flesh Hounds or whatever would really do a lot of work. I might even take out the Soul Grinder for that. So, yeah, those are my thoughts, y'all. Now, for real, I'll see you at lunch. Enjoy watching, like, looking at the armies. Whoop. Hey, There's a light misting of rain going on here. We're after the first round of the tournament, so we're doing lunch. I got about 14 minutes to talk and eat lunch, and that's what I'm going to do. First round, 70 to 75. I lost. I was playing against Death Guard. I wasn't too surprised that I lost, but I didn't want to lose, obviously. Death Guard are just really tough, especially when most of your damage is D2 and your AP is getting reduced. I didn't take Assassinate. I took Reality Rebels, the Spoilers of Reality, and no Prisoners, because he had 2 10-man blocks of Terminators. I mean, you know, they're Terminators. They don't move too fast, but they don't die easily. The Bloodthirster lasted till turn 3, and that was nice. I charged him in, didn't kill enough Terminators to make it worth it, and then he got kind of chunked. He survived Typhus attack. Probably should have put the attacks into Typhus, but I wanted points for no prisoners, so I put the attacks into the Terminators. A 4-up invuln. Kind of annoying, but I did really well on my saves. I know that my next opponent is Demons, also mostly Khorne Daemons. He's taken Be'lakor and 3 Bloodthirsters, so can't wait to see how that goes. It's going to be very interesting, because it's going to be a bit of a mirror match. So, yeah. I took a couple pictures, not during the game, of course, because why would I? I forgot. But I can show you our deployment. I tried to hide as much as possible, but the windows on the terrain made it very hard to do, especially on that big piece that had a big old footprint. So I used those guys that were on there. I had one guy left. He is the one who despoiled that objective marker because it was just outside of our deployment zone. Then on the other side, I despoiled another objective marker. And then I just kind of held there and played defensively, but I tried to do offensive stuff. In turn 2, I came down from Deep Strike, hoping to blow up a Rhino. I failed the charge. It was a 7-inch charge, and I failed it. And then I also tried to come down in his backfield against a Plague Burst Crawler. I used the Banner of Blood to roll 3 dice and drop the lowest, and I failed. So that happened. So the charge phases weren't really working out for me. I only made one, and that was with the Bloodthirster into Blight Lords, and that wasn't even all that crazy. Turns 1 and turns 2, I only got in turn 3, I only got 2 points on my Warp Storm each time. In the first turn, I had to spend it to ignore modifiers to my charges. So, really only had about 6 Warp Storm points throughout that entire game. We're hoping that next game is better. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna eat, and then I'm gonna go to the game. Boop. I know I said we'd go on to the next game, but I'm actually gonna go back and kind of talk out what mistakes that I made. I put my Bloodthirster on the right side of my deployment so that he could go into a blob of 10 Terminators. What I really should have done was put my Bloodthirster on the far left side, so that way I could charge into his Rhino that had Plague Marines in it and kill them and force his front to have to shift to react to it. When that happened, I needed to drop Bloodletters in on the backfield and take out his characters, wrap up his Plague Burst Crawlers, you know. And it's all things that I could have done. Of course, the lens of hindsight makes it very obvious to me, but I should have seen it then. And another thing, I didn't really play it poorly. It's just, it was my 3rd game with the Codex. But now that I've gotten all 5 games complete, I feel as though I really understand what I messed up on and what went wrong. Of course, the Warp Storm points kind of hampered me, but also sending my Bloodthirster into the Death Shroud when they have an invuln, the Blight Lords when they have an invuln, would have been better off going into the Rhino and then consolidating into the Plague Marines, you know? But yeah. I got a little bit bloodthirsty. I was just like, I'm gonna make so many sweep attacks. Ah! Actually, I cleaved the entire time. I tried to cleave into them. That didn't do anything. I had a 3 damage sweep, but they reduced damage by 1. So it would have only been 2 damage. But then I would have had him making more saves, but they would have been on 3-ups, and he was just making saves like crazy. So, you know, who knows what I really could have done, but I know I could have done more to really switch that game around. The secondaries in that game, I'm stalling right now because I'm pulling up the app because it closed for some reason. Uh, I took Reality Rebels, Despoilers of Reality, and No Prisoners. I only got 4 points on No Prisoners and 8 points on Despoilers of Reality, but I did, however, get 12 points on Reality Rebels, and that's just real nice. Reality Rebels is actually a really good secondary. You just have to learn how to use it. Because, they can't be within 6 inches of the center line. They have to be wholly within that table quarter. He took Assassination, Fleeing Vectors, and Spread the Sickness. He got 7 points on Assassination, 12 points on Fleeing Vectors, and 11 points on Spread the Sickness. I beat him by 1 point on Primary, but never had to control more because I could never get to the other side of the table and do it effectively. When I failed that 9-inch charge into his Plague Burst Crawler, that really took it away because I was hoping that it would have to make his forces turn around, but it just didn't happen. Anyway, Game 2. Game 2, I played against Steven. It was my first time ever playing against Steven, but I've seen him at a couple of tournaments. He's a pretty cool dude. It was pretty chill. It's just blood on blood. So it was just a good old-fashioned fight fest. Now, this game does not seem as though it was that close. But this game was cray-cray. This game was cray-cray. Okay? I had a lot going on here. Let's talk about the end of the game score already. Steven won 85 to my 49. He got 45 on Primary, 13 on Assassination. I wonder why. 13 on Reality Rebels, and 4 on Despoilers of Reality. I got 13 on Reality Rebels, 4 on Bring It Down, and 8 on Nephilim. I took R&D because I had 3 units in Deep Strike, and he wasn't going to be able to spread across the board to stop me. If I hadn't charged my unit of Bloodletters into another unit of Bloodletters, I would have R&D'd in that last table quarter to get 12. But I did. I did indeed charge because I was hoping that a unit of Bloodletters would be enough to kill another unit of Bloodletters. And they just barely whiffed, and he had like 5 Warp Storm points whenever he needed them, and he was able to bring, models back and also heal Scarbrand up a little bit. I only killed 1 Greater Demon. I haven't even given you any context for this. He took mostly Greater Demons. He had 2 units of Bloodletters, a unit of Blood Crushers, a Soul Grinder. The Blood Crushers and Soul Grinder were in Deep Strike. And he had 2 Bloodthirsters, one with the Great Axe of Khorne, the other one with the Flail and the Tiny Axe of Khorne. Scarbrand, and Bellicor. Bellicor was the real menace. Scarbrand doesn't really scare me. I was more scared of the other Bloodthirsters. That's why I killed 1. I just focus fired the one that could take the most amount of damage and had wings so that it would kind of collapse a flank. But I just wish I had guns in this case because I just couldn't do enough damage to put a good enough dent into a Bloodthirster to at least slow it down. So that one was a bit of a waste. Probably shouldn't have taken Bring It Down. Could have taken something else. But I was really thinking I was going to have to kill all of those Greater Demons to live and to win. And that's correct. I would have had to kill all those greater demons to win and to live. But I didn't kill all of those greater demons. I only killed one of them. And therefore, I lost and I died. Now, this game had a lot of cool things happen, and I wish that my Bloodthirster hadn't broken off his pin, like, during the game. Because there was at one point when my Bloodthirster was tied into combat with two other Bloodthirsters. One was Scarbrand, the other was the Bloodthirster with the Great Axe of Khorne, and he was just fighting into Scarbrand, trying to take him out. But unfortunately, I died because I just couldn't make the saves. I was really hoping that I'd make all my 4-ups and then I'd kill Scarbrand and then I'd be like, ew, and go into the one that was just like me, because he had a Bloodthirster that was that also could only take 8 wounds per phase, and I was really hoping that I'd get to go and crump on him, and then I'd hop over to Be'lakor and just start, just have one Bloodthirster, just by himself, single-handedly, ruin a whole bunch of other greater demons. He would have earned a name that day. But he didn't. So, he did a couple of wounds to Scarbrand, got him to 11, and then Scarbrand got healed up with the Warp Storm points. So I was just like, dang, that's definitely the G to the G. But we're gonna keep on going because, like I said, I was going mostly for points. I know you can't tell because I only got 50 of them, but he was just really good at denying points. Had a couple clutch moments, but there wasn't really much I could do in this situation. Maybe I could have taken the aggro, but I wanted to play a more reserved game. But this game really showed me how useless the Demon Princes are. I think this list could take out both Demon Princes and be fine. Could take out both Demon Princes and put in like a Bloodmaster, 2 units of Blood Crushers. You could put in another Bloodthirster. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take out the Demon Princes, because the Demon Princes really just stood off to the flanks to get me the Reality Rebels points. And hopefully jump in and like cut. But that just didn't happen. It just, it fell flat because they only have 3 damage. And while they do wound, they do kill. I don't think I got one into combat in any of my practice games. The Malefic Talon doesn't do the job. The Demonic Axe doesn't do the job. Well, it does the job into some targets. The Hellforged Sword's the best option, and that only puts your strength to like 7, so it's really not that good, you know? It's kind of mid. So I think the Demon Prince can sit on the bench for a little bit. The Skull Cannons, I'm really torn up about the Skull Cannons, because they do some good, but not, they do a lot, but not everything, you know? They're durable, they're not fast, but they are kind of reliable. They don't have any rerolls, though, and that's the problem, because they're manned by Bloodletters. They should get rerolls. Anyway, and then the Soul Grinder. I think I could take the Soul Grinder out of this list and put in Fleshhounds. That would be interesting. That'd be very interesting. Because then the Fleshhounds would allow me to play the speed game. I take the Soul Grinder out. I take the Demon Princes out. I either put in another Bloodthirster or I put in a Bloodmaster and 2 units of Blood Crushers. And then I take 2 units of Fleshhounds. Reality Rebels would be mine all the time. That would make that the easiest secondary in the game. It would make this army fast and killy. I gotta go look at the the Fleshhound's data sheet real quick, but I'll be right back and we'll talk about game 3. Game 3, I won. There was no contest. It was bad. All right, I'll be back. Yeah, I definitely need a couple units of Fleshhounds in here. They're not necessarily the most killy thing, but they do allow me to attempt to deny as if I was a psyker, and that would have came up a lot during my second game because Bellicor was just casting and my 4-ups were not hitting and he was not rolling that high on his psychic test, so I could have definitely got it. In my first game, my opponent was able to put my asthma pestilence on things, and it's just like, dang, I wish I could actually deny you, but I just couldn't. I couldn't afford the command points, and whenever I did spend the command points, I whiffed the deny. So the Fleshhounds really would have given me a chance to do that, and I think they're also very cool. Speaking of cool, you know what's cool? Killing 4 knights with a bloodthirster in 3 turns. Now that is some fun Warhammer for me. Oh, I played against a soup list of Chaos Knights and Chaos Space Marines. The Legion that they took was World Eaters. I don't know what household they were, but they had Khorne, a unit of Berserkers, Terminators, a Knight Tyrant, the one with the guns on it, a Knight Abominant, the one with the Psychic Phase, and they took 2 little Armigers. I shot the Armigers with the Soul Grinder. Well, shot an Armiger with the Soul Grinder and 2 Skull Cannons, put it down to 3 wounds. It was injured. It limped on over to try and go fight a Bloodthirster. Try to gang up on it with its friend Armiger. And they tried to jump my Bloodthirster. And my Bloodthirster was just like, okay, this is going to be interesting. He charged Khorne into a unit of Bloodletters and fought there first. And I was just like, dog, bet. So I interrupted. And I killed both of the Armigers with my cleave strikes. And I consolidated towards the next night. It was my turn. I flew over there. I had my Warp Storm points. I didn't worry about using them. I charged the knight, stayed outside of an inch of the Terminators. Oh, I killed Khorne, by the way. And then I popped that knight. I did 20 damage before I rolled the D3 because I had that +1 damage relic. Bloodthirsters are a knight's worst nightmare. And I think that if you're playing against knights with Khorne Daemons or any Khorne kind of thing, I think you need a Bloodthirster because Bloodthirster is basically all the anti-tank that you need. If I didn't have the Relic Blade, I would have been doing 15 damage minimum whenever I got like 5 strikes through. But it's just so great because it does 3 plus D3 without the relic. It does 4 plus D3. So if you get 5 strikes through, you do 20 damage. If you get, with the relic blade. If you don't have the relic blade, you do 15 damage. And sure, that can kill a knight, or at least severely cripple it, make them have to fall back, and no one ever wants to fall back. And I don't think they can fall back over you. I'm gonna have to look that up. But geez, it makes me want to take two Bloodthirsters so that way I can always have uh, a threat. And I dropped a unit of Bloodletters with the Banner of Blood in his backfield. I charged onto his Warpsmith that he had back there because I wasn't gonna let that fly. I was able to use my Music of the Warp to reduce his leadership down to like 7, so I could come down outside of 7 inches of him. And because of the way he was positioned, I was able to land on an objective. And I just thought it was so cool. It was so fun for me. And I just demolished him. My dice went incredibly hot. And it was just vicious. I lost about 15, 20 bloodletters by the end of the game. So I was having a wonderful time. So yeah, finished that score with 97-2. What did I take for my secondaries? I took Reality Rebels, I took Bring It Down, and I took Despoilers of Reality, because this was a Death and Zeal mission. I don't think I said the mission type at all at any point during this. So if you're watching the video version, you'll see the deployment style kind of set up, and that'll definitely be a large chunk of it, and you'll see like the mission description. Wow. Good job, me. I got 15 points on Despoilers of Reality because I was able to despoil every objective. I got Reality Rebels because it's not hard to outnumber anyone who's playing Knights. And I got Bring It Down for 12 points because that's the most amount of points I could get for Bring It Down. He got 2 points for Direct Assault in the first turn, and that was it. He never held an objective after that. I've had some pretty bad losses, but I've never had a win that vicious. But it was very fun for my army to do what my army's supposed to do and just cut through things. Literally, I was so giddy because of my Bloodthirster's ability to just kill, maim, and burn. I was like, this is my boy. And it made me want another one. So I'm going to get another one. Because if I'm having this much fun with one Bloodthirster, imagine how much fun I'm going to have with 2 Bloodthirsters. And while they both can't have, the only 8 damage per phase, that's okay. Because really, I just want to get in there. I just want to do it. Ugh. So I had fun at the tournament. The terrain was mid, kind of light. You'll see on all my tables. It was a little bit interesting. Yeah, that's basically it. It was cool. It was a vibe. I chilled out, had a good time because, I wasn't really going for the podium after I lost my first game. But now that I understand how Khorne Demons work, it really makes me want to play them more. And I want to paint them more and everything. So, yeah, I had a great time at this tournament. This report is so much shorter than the last one was, y'all. And it's shorter because I didn't win as many games. See? If I lose, I'm like, oh, well, I lost. There's not much to talk about. Jeez. But if I win, I'm like, well, it's just, it was always mine. Yeah. It was a really good time. I enjoyed myself. I feel as though Khorne Demons, well, demons in general, are in a place where there is a lot of power hidden within that book. And whenever you find it, you're going to have a lot of fun. So, yeah. I'm going to work on getting another Bloodthirster. I'm going to work on enhancing the list. It's going to be so cool. Oh, it's gonna be so cool. All right, I'll see y'all later. Bye. Ooh. Also, thanks for watching. Probably should have said that before I said goodbye. And hey, if you made it this far, dog, you're crazy. I salute you. That was me saluting you. You couldn't see it, but I did indeed do it. So yeah, y'all hold it down. It was cool. I'm gonna make more videos coming soon. Uh, but yeah, that was my tournament experience. It was very fun, very good. Would recommend if you haven't been to a Warhammer tournament, you should go to a Warhammer tournament because you're gonna have a lot of fun and you're gonna guaranteed get like 3 games, and that's what it's all about.